Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the July 30th regular meeting. We thank you all for joining us. If you would please rise for the flag salute. I pledge
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We're going to begin with our superintendent's report, since I do not have a president's report this evening. Ms. Weldon?
Hi, thank you very much. Good evening, everyone. It's wonderful to see you all. I hope everyone is having a wonderful summer. I am very excited this evening to start a recognition that I hope will be an ongoing thing here in the home of the Spartans. I'd like to first bring up Mr. Amato and also some representatives from our TOEA. Mr. Siciliano is here. I think he's going to come up, but we also have Ms. Hannah and Ms. Eisenbarth in the audience as well, representing. We have a staff member who has completed his doctoral degree from Monmouth University in educational leadership. I'd like to introduce Dr. Shalom Lavkovsky. And I just would like to say that this is an incredible commitment to our field and dedication to the work, and quite an achievement. And we want you, Dr. Lavkovsky, to know how very proud we are of you for completing your doctorate and also for continuing your work here in Ocean Township. You certainly have made your Spartan legacy. We are very, very proud of your accomplishment. So thank you for being here tonight to be recognized. We take a couple of moments to take some pictures. If anyone would like to come up here in front of the step and repeat, feel free to come forward. Take a couple of pictures, you know, Amy's not. I'm gonna take you.
Yeah, but I think that's that's right.
That's a good one. Yeah, that's great.
Gabby and Sam.
Yeah, Gabby, that's good.
You know, I have a camera right there. The son that didn't go on vacation with his girlfriend.
Yeah.
Oh, I gotta get my teacher friends there.
Come on in, get in there.
Yeah.
Get in there.
That's nice. It's nice too.
Thank you. Wonderful.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Very much. Thank you. Congratulations.
Okay, we will now move on to the school business administrator's report. Mr. Hastings?
I have nothing additional, Madam President.
All right, thank you very much.
At this point, we're going to move on with the rest of the agenda. If you'd like to continue to stay, then we'd love to have you. But we understand if you have other things you'd like to get to this evening.
Okay, we're going to move on to the public comment regarding agenda items. The following are a series of motions to be read by the committee chairpersons. All motions have been discussed at a recent public work session. Some motions have been approved at a public work session, and the minutes for the approved items are posted on the district website. At this point in the meeting, we will now conduct the first of two public comment sessions. The first session will be open for public comments on agenda items only, and the second session will be at the end of the meeting and can be on any topic. Would anyone from the public like to comment on any agenda item at this time? I will take anyone in the room right now. Is there anyone? Public comment? All right. Ms. Conway, is there anyone in the queue?
Yes, Madam President, we have Alex Hayes.
Okay. Thank you.
Please go ahead.
Hi, thanks. Sorry, I was trying to organize my thoughts a little better, so I didn't really speak off the cuff. Can't wait to learn the details of what is soon going to be public, that court settlement that y'all are voting on tonight. So that'll be interesting to find out what that settlement agreement's about. Excuse me. I wanted to talk about the data that was gone over in the work session. I'm just going to reiterate, you never know if there's other folks in listening right now. I do wish to state again that we really need to have more context in the data that we push out. And we need to have more parameters, more explainers, if you will. More than just 1 year is very helpful to the average parent who is, watching these meetings or seeing online or going on YouTube. While there are less incidents this year compared to last, for example, over the Hibs, what I think is missing, which often is the case, is we don't always seem to put out the percentages. We merely just put out the whole numbers. So it would be nice if some of our communications out in board meetings could deal with percentages. Like there were a whole bunch of affirmed HIB cases that actually demonstrated that the percentages of affirmed versus how many were reported actually went up this year. Although the numbers on the paper that were presented did make it sound, there was a decrease in reported HIBs, but a significant increase at some of the schools in actual HIBs. And I'd like to point your attention to the elementary schools. There was an increase in more than 100% of confirmed HIBs at the elementary schools. But, no, we're not talking about that. We're just talking about how, it looks like things went down. So I think I wouldn't want to say wholly misleading, but I think it's a little incomplete sometimes when we have data that just gives, certain data and not the whole picture. The rise in race and religion HIBs is a concern to me now that we won't have a social emotional learning person there. That's a little bit concerning next year that we won't have that person to kind of go into our classrooms and promote that stuff. But I wanted to bring back to your attention the NewJersey.com article that came out today ranking all the high schools in Monmouth and Ocean County. There might be 50 plus districts in Monmouth County, but there are 27 high schools. And I'm only quote unquote mentioning the high school because that's what this article is about, but it put Ocean Township High School number 24 out of 27. That is not a percentage. That's not a number that we want. I can't believe that we are the fourth worst, if you want to say it that way, high school in the county, because I know we're not. We have incredible staff and amazing students at the high school, and a number of students and parents have had incredible experiences at Ocean Township High School. But according to a very public report in a very prestigious publication, U.S. News and World Report, we are towards the very bottom of all the high schools in the county. And I think we need to work on reputation management. It's not the greatest picture of our high school. I'd love to know, what are we doing about this? What are we doing to communicate to the families? We want people to stay in Ocean and not move out. We want kids to stay in our public schools and not go to private schools. And we also want students to pay to go to our Spartan schools. Well, this is not a selling point if our district high school is not ranking very good, and people pay a lot of attention to U.S. News and World Report. I've been coming for years to these school board meetings before I was on the board and after and during, asking when we have bad test scores, what are we going to do? And we always seem to say, we're looking at it, we're looking at what's successful and what's not, and we're going to make changes. And it doesn't seem that we have any concrete changes, that this is the plan of attack, and we are going to do these accountability measures and report back to you. So I hope that we could get possibly some more answers, Ms. Weldon, on what is our reaction to the NJ.com report. We were a blue ribbon district not too long ago, so it's pretty upsetting as a rising ninth grader parent entering the high school to read that article today. And I know I'm not alone. I also want to mention that there's a group on social media that has said for like 3 months or so, they're going to be meeting at the middle school, TOIS, on Sundays for several sports leagues. But there has not been anything in the use of facilities. So Mr. Hastings, I'll follow up with you on that, because they're advertising that they're going to be at our middle school, through November. And you guys have not approved it yet. So, it would be nice if groups stopped advertising before they got permission. Good to hear about the roofs almost being done. And that's all for now. I'm sure I'm at my 5-minute mark.
Thank you. Is there anyone else, Ms. Conway?
No, Madam President, there are no further commenters.
Okay, thank you very much. We will now move on to our action items. Mr. McCarthy.
Yes, I would like to present item 6.1. Do I have a second?
Second.
5.1.
5.1.
That's what I said, 5.1.
Is there a second?
Second.
Item 5.1, Mr. Dalton,
Yes.
Mrs. Dam,
Yes.
Mrs. Gilman.
Yes.
Mr. McCarthy,
Yes.
Mr. Schneider.
Yes.
Mrs. Talarico,
Yes.
Mr. Weinstein,
Yes.
Mrs. Parliamentary.
Yes,
Motion carries.
thank you. Personnel, Mrs. Dam, would you please take the personnel items this evening?
Yes, thank you, Madam President. I would like to move to approve 6.1 through 6.7.
Second.
This is item 6.1 through 6.7, Mr. Dalton,
Yes.
Mrs. Dam,
Yes.
Mrs. Gilman.
Yes.
Mr. McCarthy,
Yes.
Mr. Schneider,
Yes.
Mrs. Talarico,
Abstain.
Mr. Weinstein,
Yes.
Mrs. Parliamentary.
Yes,
Motion's carried.
thank you. Financial Management and Resource Services, Mr. Weinstein.
Thank you, Madam President. I'd like to move for 7.1 to, what is it, 7:21? Can I get a second?
Second.
This is all items 7.1 through 7.21. Mr. Dalton,
Yes.
Mrs. Dam,
Yes.
Mrs. Gilman.
Yes.
Mr. McCarthy,
Yes.
Mr. Schneider,
Yes.
Mrs. Talarico,
Yes.
Mr. Weinstein,
Yes.
Mrs. Parliamentary.
Yes,
Motion's carried.
thank you very much. Instruction, Education and Student Activities, Ms. Gilman.
Yes, Madam President, move to approve 8.1, the HIB report, 8.2, move to affirm, and 8.3, move to approve. Is there a second?
Second.
8.1 through 8.3, Mr. Dalton,
Yes.
Mrs. Dam,
Yes.
Mrs. Gilman,
Yes,
Mr. McCarthy,
Yes.
Mr. Schneider,
Yes.
Mrs. Talarico,
Yes, to 8.1, 8.3, 8.2, abstain.
thank you. Mr. Weinstein,
Yes.
Mrs. Parliamentary.
Yes.
Motion's carried.
Okay, thank you very much. Planning Construction, we have no report. We will move on to policy. Ms. Gilman.
yes, Ms. Parliamentary, move to approve the third and final reading and revisions to the following policies and or regulations.
Second.
This is for item 10.1, Mr. Dalton,
Yes.
Mrs. Dam,
Yes.
Mrs. Gilman.
Yes,
Mr. McCarthy,
Yes.
Mr. Schneider,
Yes.
Mrs. Talarico,
Yes.
Mr. Weinstein,
Yes.
Mrs. Parliamentary.
Yes,
Items carried.
thank you. Now I will ask the board, is there any old business from the board? Anyone? Any new business? Okay, being that there is no old or new business, we will move on to public comment on any item. Anyone in the room have any public comment on any item? All right, we will move to Ms. Conway. Is there anyone in the queue?
Yes, Madam President, Alex Hayes. Please go ahead.
Thanks again. I know people who ask questions during meetings, whether they call in or if they're on the dais. I know people who speak up and ask questions are seen as divisive, and that's a shame. But I have a few more questions and comments. Whether you're on the board or not, I wish I could say I'm surprised that there were only 2 questions about those HIBs and violence data numbers. I would implore board members to ask more questions. Question the data, ask for more information, ask for more tables and charts and numbers. I had a question for Ms. Weldon. It wouldn't be a public comment without somebody getting up. I had a question for Ms. Weldon on, before I left the school board maybe in October or November, you and I met about, you were planning on doing a discipline task force. And obviously I know things change, but I'm wondering if you could get back to me on where you or the district stands on revising, looking at our various methods of positive behavioral affirmations and then discipline at the middle and high school. In light of the numbers that were presented today, I think it would be interesting to know a little bit more information on if there's going to be any changes I'd also like to reiterate my questions from earlier. If we can find out, or may I please find out, happy to send via email, what schools those numbers that were presented during work session were at. Let's see. I still disagree with Mr. McCarthy about getting in front of these numbers. I think the numbers don't really show that we're getting in front of things. I think attempts are being made, but we're not moving the needle so much. A couple other questions I have are, I'm wondering where we stand on the union contract. Our teachers make some of the on the lower end for starting salary, for example, and some of our specialties like our substitutes, our specials, our first year teachers and our pay grades. I hope they get a raise because they deserve it and they've been on the lower end of the county teachers. It'd be nice to know where the union contract negotiations are. I think the public is entitled to find out what's going on. And I think that's it for right now. Thanks.
Thank you. Is there anyone else?
No, Madam President, there are no further commenters.
Okay, thank you very
Motion
much.
to adjourn.
Okay,
Second.
there you go. Thank you, everyone, for coming out. Hope you enjoy the rest of your summer. We'll see you in August. So.